set up the puller correctly, what we need to do is measure the flange first. In this case, it's 180 millimeters in diameter. We write that down on a piece of paper. We also want to measure the piston diameter on the cylinder. In this case, it's 45 millimeter. With that, we can work out how far the legs outside the piston. 68 millimeter for the first leg and 68 millimeter for the second leg. That allows us to set the first two legs solidly into the puller before we get on the next level. Before we put the puller onto the flange, we put the third leg just loosely in its position. Before we now can lift the whole puller onto the flange with the two locked legs on top, pull it out and install the third leg all the way. Tighten it and the puller is in position. To now activate the cylinder with the puller, we put in the threaded rod. Put in a washer to protect the end of the piston and what I would call the adjustable nut. Then we put on a second nut and screw it in all the way till we see the threaded rod come through. And now we put the protection washer against the spindle at the end. Now we push it all the way home and tighten the adjusting nut against the piston. And now we are ready to activate the cylinder. Right, we connect the hydraulics to the cylinder, which is connected to the hydraulic motor, which is connected to air. And now we're ready to pull the flange off. To give it some more stroke, just keep screwing out the adjusting nut. And we hit it again. And now it can be lifted off. Okay, the first thing we got to do is make sure this hole in the end of the shaft is very clean so we can screw in the adapter. And we must screw in the adapter as far as we possibly can to get multiple threads. Then we take the flange, the new flange, and line it up with the spline and just tap it in just a tiny little bit to get it started. And that's all we need. We put in the adapter screw, and again we want to screw it in a good inch at least to get maximum thread applied. Then put in the receiver tube and the actual cylinder, which is all secured with a washer and the lock nut at the end. By activating the cylinder, which will expand, it will push the receiver forward and therefore the flange onto the spline. That's it.